in the heart of a timeless city sculpted from sun-drenched stone and the sweat of forgotten generations, where palm trees bent under the weight of desert winds and gold coins clinked like secrets behind silk curtains, lived a man named Kardem. He was a simple scribe, ink-stained fingers, worn sandals, a gaze that lingered too long on the stars. He earned his silver by copying trade records for merchants whose names were carved into marble walls. But Kardem wanted more, not for vanity, not for greed, but because deep inside, something whispered, "You were not born merely to survive. You were born to create abundance, to live with dignity, to build a life that outlives your breath." And yet, month after month, his earnings vanished like morning mist. His desires outpaced his discipline, and all he had to show for years of labor was a leaky roof, a tired body, and a soul haunted by the thought, "What if I'm meant for more, but never find the way?" One evening, Kardem sat by the Euphrates, watching boats drift with cargo heavier than his dreams. He noticed a man, old, rugged, eyes like weathered jade, throwing crumbs to pigeons, laughing softly to himself. The man was known as Nomasir, once a camel trader, now something else. Rumors whispered of his wealth, but he wore no jewelry, flaunted no silk, demanded no reverence. Kardem approached hesitant. "Master," he asked, voice dry with shame, "I earn, I work, but gold escapes me. What do I lack?" Nomasir turned, studied him, and smiled, not with mockery, but with recognition. "You do not lack gold, boy. You lack the laws that govern it." He pulled out a clay tablet from beneath his robe, its edges chipped by time, its surface carved with ancient script. "These," he said, "are the principles that build every fortune you see, and every empire you admire. Learn them, not just with your mind, but with your blood. A portion is yours to keep." At first, it sounded ridiculous to Kardem. "How can I save when I barely make enough to live?" But Nomasir explained, "From every 10 coins you earn, keep one. Not for emergencies, not for expenses. Keep it as the seed of your future." And so Kardem began. It was hard. He resisted the urge to indulge in sweet dates or fine sandals. But each time he withheld, he reminded himself, "This coin is not money, it is freedom in disguise." Weeks turned to months, and slowly, the weight of his pouch began to shift. A quiet pride grew in him, not loud like arrogance, but steady like sunrise. Make your gold multiply. With savings in hand, Kardem grew bold. He lent his coins to a brickmaker promising to import rare stone and double the money. But the brickmaker knew nothing of trade routes or stone quality. He lost it all. Kardem was devastated. He went to Nomasir, expecting scolding. Instead, the old man laughed. "Would you ask a blind man to guide you through the mountains? Gold," he said, "flees from the hands of the unwise. You must only entrust your money to those well-versed in their craft." This time, Kardem invested in a trader who dealt in fine cloth. The man knew his routes, his buyers, his cycles. Weeks passed, and his gold returned, multiplied, not by luck, by understanding. Now that gold came back with friends, the temptation grew. Shiny deals, exotic schemes, sweet-talking dreamers. But Kardem remembered the third law: protect your wealth from loss. He became meticulous. He asked questions. He rejected any offer that smelled of haste or fantasy. He understood, wealth is not only built by earning, but by not losing what you've already earned. Through caution, patience, and wisdom, his savings became a steady river. Over the years, Kardem's name changed in the mouths of the city, from that poor scribe to the man with the vault beneath his home. But what mattered more was the change in his mindset. He no longer chased gold. He no longer feared the future. He knew that he had become the kind of man who could build, lose, and rebuild again. And so, he began to teach. He gathered young workers, farmers, widows, and traders. He shared the three laws, not in sermons, but through stories, questions, and reflections. He told them, wealth is not about hoarding coins. It is about building a life that grows while you sleep. On his final day, when the breath in his chest turned to silence, Kardem left behind no fortune to be fought over. Instead, he left behind scrolls, copies of the same three laws, and this final note. If you follow these laws with the discipline of a monk and the patience of a farmer, you will never again be poor. Not in money, not in spirit, not in destiny.